selection in the 2023 NHL Draft, the Chicago Blackhawks are very proud to select from the Regina Pats, the Western Hockey League, Connor Bedard.
Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast presented by Goose Island, the official beer of CHGO. Find one of their Chicagoland locations at gooseisland.com/locations. It is the first CHGO Blackhawks podcast of the Connor Bedard era.
It is official.
Damn.
Woo!
Let's go.
It feels good.
This has been, I was just thinking about it as I was checking emails in the other room. This has been like the longest day of my life. We talked to Danny Wirtz and Jamie Faulkner today. That was today.
Here. That was right here today.
That was today.
This morning.
Feels like 3 years ago.
13 hours ago.
Yeah, absolutely nuts and amazing and everything we could have hoped. Let's tell people about the day real quick. First, we talked to Danny and Jamie. Immediately went to the 312 pizza place. That was great.
So good.
So good. Then came home, changed, went to the draft, stopped by the Hawks draft party, checked that out. Mm-hmm. And it was just so much energy on the streets, and it almost felt like we were home. It almost felt like we were in Chicago because it's the vibe in Nashville is Chicago. And as we approached Bridgestone, we could see in the distance the Blackhawks draft party. It was not a subtle
up on the rooftop
footprint. It was right over Broadway.
It was a Jedi level troll job to rent out the big, huge rooftop bar right across the street from the entrance to the Bridgestone Arena and literally put a Chicago Blackhawks hot air balloon up there.
Yeah.
And banners everywhere.
Yeah.
It was an excellent
keep the red out in Nashville.
Excellent petty troll job, which if you saw the Predators mascot did their little
what's his name? Gnarly Nash? Whatever. Nash. That makes more
Nash
sense.
with a G.
Nash. Ganache.
Guy Ledouche.
Ganache.
I thought that's who the Coyotes drafted. Boy, oh boy, they just can't get out of their own way, can they?
More on that later.
Yeah. But hey, Connor Bedard's a Hawk. It was so funny hearing him talk, and we're going to share some audio from the night coming up in the show, but we've heard it all along about how humble he is and how hockey-focused he is. And he kept saying, like, I didn't want to think about it too much. I didn't want to jinx it. And saying, if I make the team this year,
if I make
like,
the squad.
The amount of times he had, in the last, 48 hours that he's just said, oh, I'm just focused on making the team, it's getting annoying. Dude,
you got it.
Don't
worry.
You're freaking great, man.
You're taking the opening face-off of the season against one of your heroes, Sidney Crosby.
Which he was asked about, too, by Mark
that's when he said, well,
Athletic.
if I make the squad, that would be a great moment.
Yeah.
Dude, you got it. You know what's happening.
The Blackhawks didn't put your jersey on sale seconds after the pick for you to go back to Regina and play.
Right. Not Regina. Regina. I mean, it's almost, I don't want to say it was anticlimactic, but we all knew that pick was coming. And it was just a matter of how are we going to cover this? How are we going to do the best we can to get it? And it was our first time covering a draft. So kind of getting the logistics of, the quarter-mile walk from the media riser to the media room.
I don't have my Fitbit on today, but we all reached our step goal just at the Bridgestone Arena today.
And the NHL Wi-Fi, man, coming in strong.
If I trust any organization to make sure that Wi-Fi is available to international media outlets, it's the NHL.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sorry, I blame David Poy.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
it was a show. It was
all about him.
It's like a living wake.
Apparently, he mentored every general manager that ever general manager, and let's honor a guy that has never won anything.
Nothing. Got a bunch of fake banners though. Well,
and he has shitty Wi-Fi in his building.
Yeah, exactly.
So screw him.
Why don't we hear from Connor Bedard here real quick? We got a couple cuts from him. Look, there are colossal expectations on this kid, and we all believe that he's going to handle it well because every time he's been handed a challenge, not only does he rise to the occasion, but he shatters expectations. So he sort of talked about how he's going to handle these massive expectations as a rookie.
Yeah, I mean, I've had kind of a gradual growth of exposure and pressure, like you said, for the last 5-6 years. So I think that's been good for me. It wasn't a kind of overnight thing, and I'm not focused on kind of outside expectations. I'm going to be focused on my teammates, coaches, family, everyone there, the staff, and trying to win hockey games and try to be the best player I can be.
That's it. The kid just wants to play hockey. And if you read what Mark Lazarus wrote this morning, it was really good. He talked to Jonathan Taves and Hughes and Lafreniere and a bunch of number 1 overall picks. Owen Power was in there, all sort of offering their advice to Connor Bedard. And that's what Jonathan Taves is doing, saying, like, don't let the limelight get in your way. Just focus on hockey and everything's going to be great. And I have no concerns about the spotlight getting to Connor Bedard or changing the way this kid acts. Like, you could tell all he wants to do is play. All he wants to do is get on the damn ice and prove that he's worth all the hype. And you could tell he just wants to get to work. That's it. That's all he wants to do is work.
At the end of round 1, Kyle Davidson spoke and he put it simply. He was like, Connor gets it. Like he wants to be great and he knows what he has to do to reach it.
Well, why don't we have that cut from Kyle Davidson? Why don't we fire that one up right now too?
I think just how great he wants to be. He wants to be great. He takes nothing for granted. He's humble. I think I could just say he gets it. He just gets it. And there's going to be, he's going to put in the work to be as good as he's going to be or can be, and that's really exciting considering how good he already is.
And part of the reason that Connor Bedard went number 1, look, we all know about the shot. We all know about the skill. We all know about the vision. But the makeup of the player is a huge part of it too. And that's kind of the separator between the guys that will and the guys that won't. And everyone that talks about him says the same things. And it's not, a lot of times they don't even lead with the skill. It's about him. And I think that is hugely meaningful.
Yeah, Mike Donnie had a scouting, spoke after Kyle Davidson and said, we all see the skills on the ice, but it's the things that aren't seen in those highlights that make him the complete package. What he is off the ice, the leader, the person he is, how humble he is. And we keep hearing that, but that's not an act. That's authentic. The way he talked about his grandfather tonight, who had recently passed away, and he had a little poker chip in his pocket that his grandfather gave him, and you could tell that was real, and that meant a lot to him. And Mike Donnie said there's so many things besides the skill to be excited about having this kid as part of the organization. It's a face of a franchise, and it's not just because he's going to be the best player on this team for a long time.
Yeah, and he just comes off as mature beyond his years. You look at him, and it's the first time seeing him in person.
Yeah.
Well, we were in the front row of the media scrum, and it's like, holy cow, that is a child. That is a child. Yeah. But then you hear him speak, and he speaks with a maturity, and he speaks with so much poise. And I know part of it is kind of what he said. Like, look, the spotlight's been on me since I was 14 years old, 13 years old. And it's been good that I've been able to kind of handle that, kind of gradually instead of like all at once. He is ready. He is ready for this.
Yeah.
And whether or not the first season results in 70 points, 80 points, 100 points, I don't know. But what I do know is whatever happens with Connor Bedard, be it, maybe early season struggles or complete dominance beyond anyone's wildest dreams, whatever happens, he's got it. It's going to be fine. He's going to handle it.
Yeah, there's very little doubt. He's not going to be a kid that folds under the pressure. He's got that gene that we saw Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, where the brighter the spotlight, the better. They want that moment. They want the puck when the game is on the line. Yeah. They're jumping over the boards with a minute to go before the coach even pats them on the like they crave it. Mm-hmm. And whether it's with Bedard, it's either he's going to score the big goal or he's going to set up his line mate to score that big goal. He doesn't care who does it as long as somebody is doing it. And that is I don't think there's a lot of selfishness or ego. There's no ego there.
It's funny you said that. You mentioned line mates. And I remember a conversation we were having with PD yesterday from PHNX about Taylor Hall. Mm-hmm. And he said when Taylor Hall was in Phoenix, it was the same way. Like, they're down 1, there's time left. Taylor Hall is getting on the ice, right? Like, and sometimes he get pulled back.
Right.
And he didn't love that, right? But to have guys that want that makeup, and you talk about a lot of people this offseason, before the Foligno Hall trade was made, we're saying they got to bring in some leadership for him. They got to bring in veteran example. Check those boxes.
Yeah.
Taylor Hall is a number 1 overall pick who is a guy who wants the puck. He wants to be the guy. I don't think it's going to cause a problem with Bedard by any means at this point in Hall's career. But again, it's how do you talk and sort of teach him, like, when it's not your turn? How do you handle that? How do you react to that in that situation? I just think the last 3 or 4 days for the Hawks, it's A+.
Yeah.
It's A+. I mean, I struggle to find a day I've felt so satisfied about this team.
There hasn't been a organizational misstep as far as, you know, putting the team together and trying to execute the plan that Kyle Davidson's set forth. There really has not been a misstep.
No, it's been tremendous. It's crazy how a difference a year makes, because at this time last year, there were a lot of people that were questioning Kyle Davidson after trading away Alex DeBrincat and trading away Kirby Dach. We had a lot of people who are in our chat right now that are heaping praise on him, and rightfully so, that were like, I don't know if this guy knows what he's doing. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Well, patience. Mm-hmm. Let the plan come to fruition, and we're seeing more of it. No pun intended. But, you know, it started with Connor Bedard, and the evening got better because they got another one of their targets without having to trade up. But we talk about being excited for Connor Bedard, and if you're excited for Connor Bedard, you got to go get out a new shirt. I mean, it dropped today. People are going crazy for it.
Yeah.
It's available now. Head over to chgolocker.com. Get your your number 98 shirt.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Sorry. Your future of the league shirt.
Absolutely.
Grab that now. Hey, and if you're not a diehard yet, become a diehard, and that can be your free shirt. You can get the Future of the League shirt absolutely free by becoming a CHGO diehard, and then you'll save 20% on all the future number 98 shirts that will be coming out over the next decade or so. So grab that. That's the first one. Get it now. Those of our diehards that joined us at our awesome party yesterday, you'll be getting yours in the mail soon, but get that Future of the League 98 shirt. They're gonna be flying off the shelves.
They're very sweet. Make sure you get it. Awesome job by the crew, as always, getting that out and designed and everything.
Yes. And while we're talking about awesome crews, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I gotta give a shout out to Steven, to Casey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ryan, RG with the DNVR, Shane with PNHX, Michaela, just such a team effort tonight.
The whole ALLCITY crew.
It was just so.
There was no like, we're Denver, we're Phoenix, everyone was pulling from we were all helping each other.
Everybody knew how important that Connor Bedard moment, and we had people from all across our network making sure we captured that moment, and Steven put it all together in that awesome video we showed. If you missed it, we'll play it again for you at the end, but I couldn't be more proud of the team effort tonight. You know, everybody comes in to listen to what we have to say, but if you guys had any idea what goes on behind the scene to make us look so good, it's just I'm blown away by the team effort tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like one of those things where I start thinking about it too much. I can't do a show because I start to get like choked up about it. But honestly, like when we all signed up for this last March, I think all of us were like, all right, it's a startup. You know, it's a risk. It's exciting, but we don't really know what to expect. And it's just been like since day one, every day is like living a dream. And today, I think is probably the best day we've had, and the most kind of surreal and like, holy shit! Like, look where we are right now.
Yeah,
look what's happening in front of us. Look what we're covering.
There were multiple times. There's been multiple times this week and multiple times just tonight where I had to like take a moment, breathe, and be like, "You're at the NHL draft for your job."
Yeah.
Like,
well, when I was, so I'm in the front row trying to film Bedard, and I kept making a point to like look away, look off my phone screen, like just look at him, and like look around me and like take it in, because I think we're so focused on capturing content for everybody, which is what we did so well today.
That's what we do.
Sometimes it takes us out of the moment. And I made a point of like, all right, just peek around or focus somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's been incredible, and tomorrow is just going to be even more of the same. So, and thank you, of course, to everybody who's with us in the show right now. Make sure you smash that like button. I haven't said that yet.
We got almost 600 people in the chat at
crazy.
11:23.
That's crazy.
It's amazing.
So smash if you really enjoy what we're doing. Honestly, a simple, fast way to help us is to smash that like button. It helps us with visibility. It helps YouTube push us out to even more people. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. We do the podcast as well. Wherever you get your podcast, subscribe to CHGO Blackhawks and all the CHGO shows, because there's great stuff coming from all Chicago teams, but especially the Hawks. And we haven't even mentioned Oliver Moore yet, really.
We actually just got a super chat. Our first super chat of the show about
do it.
Let's go.
Hey, guys, late to the party. How about that Oliver Moore pick, eh? Do you
Love
think
it.
he is projected to be a second or third line center?
Well, Donahue talked about that, and he said, I don't know, second or third line. Like he didn't. He was like, "What? It'll work itself out."
Yeah.
He's one of those players where if it's center, if it's wing, second line, third line, if he plays on top line role in I don't know, probably on a wing, he can do any of it, and I think that's one of the underlying advantages to getting a player like that, because the top advantage is how freaking good of a skater he is.
Great skater.
Best skater in the draft.
And I think, look, like as we were kind of trying to predict what the Hawks might do with that second pick, wherever it was, when Oliver Moore's name came up, it was, well, they're going to have to trade up for that. And even if they make that trade with Vancouver, we all sort of speculated might happen. We thought that might not even be high enough for Oliver Moore. And then he's there at 19.
Yeah.
And Kyle Davidson said it, that he was trying to trade up the whole draft, trying to take more.
He said as soon as he sat down from making the Bedard pick, he was on the phones trying to trade up to get Oliver Moore.
Yeah. And he's there at
And
19.
he kept falling. We can thank our pals at the Coyotes for helping to facilitate that.
Appreciate that.
By taking 2 reaches with 6 and 12, but at least they all had matching suits on.
It's sad.
Nobody expected Oliver Moore to be there, but the three of us,
we're counting down picks, and we're like,
we
this
keep
guy's
looking
still
at
here.
each other
He's
like,
still here.
And then we're like, okay, I had my heart broken on Matthew Wood. That's who I wanted, but I knew he wasn't falling to 19. But it was like getting close. I'm like, oh, of course, it's the Predators that are going to take him. But then it's like, okay, there's Perreault and Moore. One of those guys might be there. I thought for sure Detroit was going to take Moore.
Yeah.
And then they go with sweetest defenseman. Weird.
What?
Hey, someone made that correct pick in our mock draft.
Yes, you did. And I'm glad you put that into the universe. And then
you are welcome.
It's coming up to 18. And you're like, okay, we're guaranteed to get Perreault or Moore. And then it's like, holy crap. We can get either one.
Choose, yeah.
Then it's like, I want Oliver Moore. I like Gabe Perreault. Not anymore. He's a Ranger.
Instant hatred.
Instant. Like
fire Yannick Perreault while you're at it.
Get him out of there. Go root for your son in the Rangers, you bum. But it was like, get Oliver Moore. And then the pick was made. And it was just like, oh, yes.
Yeah, it was great.
Because you knew that was a guy that fit the vision.
Exactly what they wanted to do.
That's exactly what they wanted. And Mike Donahue was asked that very question. Our super chat asked, like, is he a second and third liner? And, he was like, yeah. Listen, if Bedard, Nazar, and Oliver Moore all hit their potential, they reach their full potential, it doesn't matter which one's 1, 2, or 3. You've got 3 ridiculously fast and talented centers if they all play center.
And that's not even factoring in Lucas Reichel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ryan Green.
And
Paul Ludwig. Like, we got in the car after the draft to head back here, and like we pulled out a lot, and I was like, guys, we haven't even hit the 4 picks of the second round yet. This team is going to be so good in like 4 years. It's so exciting.
The arrow is so pointing back up.
And this vision that Kyle Davidson had, I'll be the first to admit I was not the biggest fan of the hire. I wanted a little more
someone who had done it before.
You wanted Peter Chiarelli, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
I wasn't
or Pierre McGuire.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of those guys.
Human penis.
I wasn't thrilled with it, but I was like, okay, it is what it is. It's automatic improvement because it's not he who shall not be named.
Yeah.
And man, this guy, he's killing it. And
he's got stones, man. Like, just to say thank you, Jonathan and Patrick. We appreciate your time.
Yep.
We're moving on.
Thank you.
And to be able to close that door and open this door so quickly is amazing.
Well, and he said it. There's a lot of luck involved. Yep. And he said, I didn't do anything to win the draft lottery.
Yeah.
But it worked out. But the point is, even had it not been Bedard, the plan is still sound.
Yeah.
And it's still it still would have had great results. But you get what Chris Peters called the shortcut in Bedard, and there you go.
Speaking of which, how funny if that would have been had the Blue Jackets won,
taking Bedard probably,
and then the Hawks stay in 3 where they finished. They would have gotten Adam Fantilli because Pat Verbeek overthought it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was weird.
That would have. And the Blue Jackets are ecstatic.
Yeah.
That for whatever reason. Now, I'm not hating on Leo Carlson. I think he's going to be a really good player, but how do you not take Adam Fantilli?
Yeah, I know.
Right there.
Especially with that Ducks lineup. He fits that lineup so well.
It just makes all the sense in the world to take Fantilli.
And no offense to the city of Columbus, Casey. I'm not going to rip them. I've done that a lot, but
Columbus.
You have to be a little disappointed if you're Adam Fantilli thinking for the last 8 weeks, like, ordering surfboards and flip-flops because you're going to go to Orange County and hang out with Trevor Zegras all day, and then all of a sudden, cool, I get to go to middle of Ohio. I mean, it's got to be a little bit of I'm sure he's right now like, whatever, I'm in the NHL, I'm on cloud 9, but...
Well, we passed him on the way back to the car.
We did.
Yeah, he was just walking down the street.
There was.
I'm like, hey, that guy's got a Fantilli. That's Fantilli.
Yeah.
There's a reason he's wearing that Fantilli jersey.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the chaos started early, right off number 2.
Off the bat.
Yeah, I know. The whole lead up to the draft, we were saying, man, right after that second pick,
the third pick is where it gets interesting.
Nope. Right after the Blackhawks pick Bedard, the whole thing opened up.
The third pick turned out to be the second easiest no-brainer of the draft after number 1.
Yeah,
crazy.
And Mitchkov falls to 5.
Yeah,
what the Coyotes did.
Yeah,
Mitchkov went what 7?
7, not 7, not 5, 7.
Yep.
Yeah.
Carey Price forgets who he's supposed to
Carey
say.
Price.
We didn't
tough.
see that live.
I saw the video.
We were waiting
we saw,
for Bedard.
we saw the reaction, but
I want to point some out, by the way, on the Oliver Moore thing. I tweeted this out. Here's where Oliver Moore was ranked from Scott Wheeler. He was 9th. Chris Peters, he was 12th. He was 8th among North American skaters by NHL Central Scouting and 8th by Elite Prospects, and the Hawks get him at 19.
He shouldn't, by all accounts, he should not have been there at 19.
And he's not. I also think we need to. I think when you hear someone's a great skater, your mind goes like, well, he's Pavel Bure, where he's going to be at the blue line cherry picking. Moore plays a two-way game. He actually described his game a little bit and then also discussed his excitement to play with Connor Bedard and Frank Nazar, if we can play that audio from Oliver Moore. Because he talks about his game briefly and then got into a little more later, which we'll get to, but we wanted to share this audio quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll describe myself as a fast, competitive, two-way forward who has an offensive side to his game, more offensive, and can really do a lot of things out there for his team. Obviously, I think speed is my biggest attribute, though.
You already started thinking about you and Nazar and Connor Bedard up the middle, potentially?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, thinking about that, that'd be crazy, but I know Frankie pretty well, too. Our billet families were friends, and, yeah, I'm really pumped to just kind of see him at Dev Camp, too.
Yeah, I mean, the kid is, it's cool that he knows Nazar, but he is a two-way forward.
Mm-hmm.
And Donahue said, when asked, are you concerned about the team size? Nope.
Yeah.
Just repeatedly said no.
Yeah, until he started laughing.
Yeah.
He had no other way to express that, the size, quote unquote, size issue that the Blackhawks are facing is not a concern, because the way he laid it out was that a guy like Oliver Moore, a guy like Connor Bedard, sure, they're not 6'1", 6'2", 6'3" centermen. They're 5'9", 5'11", but they're still young, have to grow physically. And he pointed out they're both 190 pounds already.
Yeah.
Like they have, not to make us all hungrier than we are, but they have the beef already.
Yeah.
So they're going to be fine physically.
Well, look, no one
Moore's
talks
a big kid. He's not tall, but even just sitting watching him at the podium, he's a big kid.
Yeah.
And getting a guy that has, some muscle on him already that could skate like he does is
Well, look, no one talks about Brad Marchand's size. No one talked about Andrew Shaw's size.
Mhm.
It's a willingness more than anything. And yeah, like if Victor Hedman's out there, you're at a physical disadvantage. But guess what? He's at a speed disadvantage against these guys. So
Right.
it's an equalizer, So it's, I don't know. I think it's overblown. I would like to see them add a little bit of size up front. I think it's a good idea.
That's coming.
Yeah,
Because you look at some of the guys left on the board after tonight that are going to be available. Their size is there.
Why don't we do that next? But first, we have to read some ads.
Yeah, I'll do that. Hey,
Do it.
add some reads.
Pins and Aces, they are top notch. They are a first round pick when it comes to golf apparel. We love ourselves our Pins and Aces. They are the official golf apparel partner of ALLCITY and of us here at CHGO. They are a family-owned and operated golf and apparel business, and they have some of the best polos, golf bags, golf hats, golf gloves, pants, accessories, ball markers, and of course, the beer/beef sleeve, the innovative product that allows you to store 7 beers right inside of your golf bag, or about 4 regulation-sized beefs, and keep them hot or cold for the entire round. How many of the beefs from 312 do you think would fit in there?
Fewer.
Not enough.
Yeah,
That was
were
some
some good
big ass.
those were fantastic. You definitely were going to find some of those in our beer/beef sleeves this summer. Check out pinsandaces.com. Use the promo code CHGO. When you do, you're going to get 15% off of your first order, and you're going to get free shipping. Again, that's the promo code CHGO at pinsandaces.com.
Well, we know you ordered your Future of the League CHGO Locker shirt from CHGOLocker.com. But if you want to get decked out in some more Hawks gear, and everybody does right now,
Of course.
head to Foco.com. Get fitted out in the best sports gear around: hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. It's summer and it's baseball season. Get your Aloha shirts, your straw hats, the polos, the bags, everything you need for a game at Wrigley or Guaranteed Rate Field. Usually when we're home, our set is decorated with all sorts of cool bobbleheads and stuff.
Yeah.
That's from our friends at Foco. Check out Foco.com or check the link in our description for all non-presale items. Use the promo code CHGO for 10% off. So, talking about tomorrow, I have 2 tweets pinned here. One from Cam Robinson, one from Chris Peters. Cam says, best players remaining on his board after day 1. Oscar Fisker-Molgaard, who he had a 20th. Grayson Sachin, he had a 22nd. Riley Height, he had a 28th. Nick Lardis, he had a 33. Danny Nelson, 34. And Felix Nilsson at 35.
Yeah.
Chris Peters' list. Andrew Crystal at 24. Gavin Brindley at 25. He had Riley Height at 30. Evan Gauthier at 31. Lucas Dragasevich at 34. Michael Hrabel at 35. Kasper Heltonen, love that name, 37. Grayson Sachin, 38. ATN Moran at 40. Maxime Strebek at 41. And my guy, Anton Wahlberg at 42. So
a lot of great options.
Tons of quality left.
Mhm.
It's
and the Blackhawks are going to get right to it. They got picked the 3rd pick of the 2nd round.
Yep.
And 4 picks in the 2nd round. So it's going to be active. I'm really interested knowing how active Kyle Davidson was trying to be to move up to get Oliver Moore, to get back into the first round a 3rd time again for back-to-back years. Can you imagine if that had worked out? I wonder how that impacts the rest of the draft strategy now, because he's going into day 2, with all of his day 2 picks that he had coming in to the draft. So it's kind of, you're still going forward with the plan, but I just wonder how now maybe he says, well, we have all of our picks. We were trying to move some of them. Doesn't seem like moving is going to be all that great. Maybe we use all of them. Maybe tomorrow is when we see another trade where they bring in a player on a bad contract. Like it's there's going to be a lot of action tomorrow.
Look, clearly first round picks were not on the table.
Yeah,
nobody gave up a first.
Frank Saravalli tweeted it out. This is the first time since 2007 that no trades in the first round happened.
Yeah,
everyone just picked where they were.
Well, no, not on draft day. There were, the Montreal.
Sure.
Not on the actual draft day. It was
draft.
Very weird to be there and not have Gary Bettman come on and say, "We have a trade." The
less of him, the better.
I'm not arguing that, but it usually happens a couple of times. Yeah. We'll probably get some action tomorrow. Maybe some teams that had no first round pick.
You meant trade action?
Yes.
I got excited for a second.
No, there'll be none of that other action. Not in this house.
Sorry, I derailed you.
Yeah.
Totally.
Sorry.
It's too late at night for that kind of nonsense. No, I think maybe a team that didn't have a first round pick that's now like, man, I really wish we had one of those things, calls the Blackhawks for one of those second round picks.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they can get something real good.
That'd be
for
great.
One of those picks. And if not, you use all 4 of them. That's where you could take some swings, like you did with Sam Renzel as your third. That's where you take some swings. And maybe you with one of those picks or 2 of those picks, you get a guy that flies under the radar a bit, might not be ready for 3 or 4 years, but you got that luxury.
You have time.
Recapping tomorrow's picks: 35, 44, 51, 55. Those are in the second round. 67 and 93 in the third. 99 in the fourth. 131 in the fifth, and 195 in the seventh. Those are the Hawks picks tomorrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 picks tomorrow.
9 picks.
So, like we've said, as the night was going on, people are like, do you see him trading up? Do you see him trading up? Sure. Literally everything's on the table. They could trade down. They could trade up. They could do whatever. They are holding all the cards of this draft.
Yeah. They're in a no-lose situation. You can make all your picks. You can trade up, trade down. You're still going to get good players. You can bring in a player with a contract that teams are trying to move that benefits you in reaching the cap floor, in acquiring future assets, and helping insulate the lineup a little bit more. Like there's no losing situation that the Blackhawks are in. Yeah,
it will be interesting to see what happens with 35. As I'm following along with our chat, a lot of debate over Andrew Crystal.
Yeah, we should talk about him a little bit.
We actually got a super chat about him from Lebowski 5.
Perfect.
He said Crystal doesn't fit the Hawks speed requirement. However, since they have speed in Bedard, Nazar, Moore, and Korch, does that make a swing of Crystal okay?
See, I think that's a fair point, because the biggest knock against Crystal is his skating ability, and Mike Donaghy said if you can't skate, you're not going to be a Blackhawk. But with all of the young guys that they have, the comment from Lebowski 5 says, all those guys are really good skaters. Can you sacrifice one guy in your future lineup that has, that elite level playmaking and skill in his hands and vision and scoring ability? Do you sacrifice one bad skater for all those other positives?
They're definitely in a position to take that risk or chance. They're in a better position than a lot of other teams because of what they've already acquired in this draft, what they've gotten last year's draft.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sure. If you draft him and it just doesn't work and he turns out to be, Brandon Peary, and maybe, but, you can afford that risk with all those other picks. I was never super high on him. Sold on him. It just doesn't seem like he fits the Blackhawks, what they're looking for. And sure,
you can't be a Blackhawk.
Not every player is going to fit that mold. You're not going to be able to. But it just, I don't want to. I'm not high on him. If they take him, okay, and if he falls to that 44 pick, he's still there. Sure, go for it. 35. I think you could still get a better player than him right now.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
and I may be proven wrong. It's happened thousands of times.
And I think you look at how the league has changed in the last couple of years. Teams that can skate circles around other teams have a lot of success. So if that's the blueprint that the Blackhawks are going for is speed and skating and hardworking forechecks and things like that out of their forwards is what they're going to use to find success. I agree. I don't know where he fits that mold.
Yeah, and I know there's the relationship with Bedard, and there is skill there. There is a lot of skill there, but I think we're way too early in the Connor Bedard era to be making sure we get his buddies on the team.
Right.
So I don't know. If they do it, great. If they don't, I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just he's not high. There's all those players you listed. There's guys I would have over him. Gavin Brindley is one of those guys.
Brindley, I want Mulgaard.
Yeah.
I want guys like that.
There are guys I'd take over him. But if you get to that second or third second-round pick and he's still there, I mean, that's a giant red flag.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
But
because then every other team is making the same assessment.
There's something there or not there. That's causing that to fall, because this was a kid that was talked about potential
First
top
round.
10, top 15, and if he's still there at 44, there's got to be a reason. So we'll see. If they take him, they've got enough great talent that you can afford to miss there. It's not as desperate of a pick that has to hit with what you've been able to do over the past two drafts, or one draft in one round.
Now, here's a quote from a player on Andrew Crystal. Quote, "He's probably the smartest hockey player I've ever gotten to play with and watched this year. The things he's able to do out there with the puck and how well he creates offense is some of the best I've ever seen. He's a special player, and he's going to make a team really happy." That is Blackhawk Connor Bedard on Andrew Crystal.
Well,
all right, screw it, draft him.
So, and what's interesting? Oliver Moore mentioned his skating coach, Katie McDonough, is like sort of honed his skating. There's no reason that they can't send Andrew Crystal to Katie McDonough or one of the many great skating coaches throughout the country.
Have him work with Kendall Coyne's coach.
You want to learn how to be a better skater, listen to her.
And I think too, when anytime a prospect puts up huge numbers like Crystal did and then falls because of one particular asset, they're going to be laser focused on fixing that. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to do everything they can to improve that. And maybe other things fall off, but all Crystal and his team has heard is how bad of a skater he is. Like, F this. I'm going to improve my skating now.
Well, it was interesting. Mike Donahue talked about they had two lists: the want to draft list and the don't want to draft list. And then he said that, like, as that first round was going, so many more guys off that do not draft list were getting taken. And this list was still very populated. I kind of have a feeling Crystal's on that do not draft list. Or maybe if there's a third list in the middle, maybe he's on that list.
The maybe draft list.
I don't know if he's on that two draft list based on some of the comments we've heard. But you never know.
Yeah, I think
that's why those guys make a lot of money to identify these things, and we sit here at midnight in Airbnb to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Are there any more super chats we need to get to?
Yeah, we got one more from KRCHI Sports.
Nice.
I heard this guy Kyle's a huge fan, so I think I trust him. Also, I badly need a pun for his regime, kind of like the Eiserman plan, but I struggle to find one.
Hop on the ride.
The winning plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, hop on the ride. That's what he said technically day 2 of being on the job, and when he was talking with Emily Kaplan, and this was the point of the season last year, where it was like, if you didn't already believe that the tank was coming, it was coming, because it was after the trade deadline, and he just said, like, look, like, get on the ride. Like, it's going to take some time, it's going to take some patience, but at the end of it, it's going to be worth it. And what you need to remember is that this is not the end of it. This is still very much in the early stages of that ride and that ascension back to contention and back to the top of the league. Connor Bedard gets you there faster, but he's just starting to get you there.
He takes a year off the rebuild, but he takes that last year off, not this year.
We
said that before. If you get Bedard, the rebuild goes from 4 to 5 years to 3 to 4 years. So he takes that last year off of this rebuild. Can we just talk a moment, though, about Kyle Davidson? And while we're showering him with our praise, both here and in the chat, can we just talk about how refreshing it is to have a general manager with some personality, with a sense of humor, with a guy that can take a moment to not be so serious, even though he's a very serious guy.
Yeah.
But you saw him tonight at that podium, just a guy that's just
he took a picture.
He took a picture of us.
Hang on, let me take
before
this
he
picture.
goes, my mom's gonna love this. Pulls up his phone and takes the picture.
Picture of us all holding our cameras.
We're like,
up
oh,
from
okay,
him.
smile, everyone.
This is a guy that just knows I'm doing exactly what I told you guys I was going to do.
He believes in what he's doing.
He's got so much confidence, so much swagger right now. He's not walking around acting like he knows better than you and looking down his nose at you.
Well,
this is a guy.
Short.
So is the other guy. And just that viral video, the man on the street interview from Nashville, which he confirmed was legit.
Yeah,
that the dude had. He said he's told us in the scrum. He said he and assistant general manager Jeff Greenberg were just out for a walk on the strip on Broadway this morning. Early in the morning, it wasn't crowded. They just wanted to get out of their room and get some fresh air and recharge. And the guy
Penalty Box Radio
walked up to him and said, "Hey, you guys want to do an interview?" He's like, "No." And then he said they got a block away. And he's like, "You know what? That they wouldn't even they probably won't even know it would be you." Yeah. So Kyle's like, "Yeah, let's go back and do it." He said he actually waited for 2 other people to finish their interview and then did it.
And those two people that were wearing Kane and Saad jerseys
didn't know it was
him. Didn't know it was him.
Yeah. So 2 Blackhawk fans were standing in front of him and had no idea it was Kyle Davidson. Yeah. And then he did it. My favorite moment of that was when he asked him, do you think the NHL lottery was rigged? And he kind of goes, "No." Looks right at the camera. It's just so good. And then we were all, when we first saw that, we were all like, that's got to be fake. There's no way they didn't know it was him.
Yeah.
Apparently, right afterwards, he told them, "Oh, by the way, I'm Kyle Davidson. I'm the general manager of the Blackhawks." And they were like, "What?"
And no, he said they didn't believe him. He said they said whatever, and then apparently must have looked it up. It's crazy, and then to have that, you're not going to see most or any other NHL GM do that in that situation.
Well, after tonight and after the hopeful success that's coming down the road, he's not going to be able to be.
He's going to start. He's going to start to be much more.
Not going to be able to do. He's not going to be able to do that ever again.
Yeah.
He's going to be well known. He's on the path to being one of the most recognizable faces among the general managers.
And he should be. And look, again, I'll say it again. Getting Bedard is lucky, and it's easy for us right now to say, wow, look how great this guy has done. But I don't know anyone aside from the most bitter and, negative Hawks fan could look at it any other way. Mm-hmm. Unless you're just a glass half empty, nothing's ever going to go right, woe is me kind of a fan. I don't know how you can look at this. And was it tough to say goodbye to Alex DeBrincat, Dylan Strome, Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane? Yeah. Of course it's tough, but what would it have accomplished to keep them around? And look, you see what's happening with DeBrincat now. He's not going to get the money he thought he was going to get. I don't know. It
appears the Senators aren't getting the return they thought they were going to get.
No, and we're not trying to reverse, drag on Alex DeBrincat by any means. Great player. I would love to have him back if the money made sense, but it's just. The things that we questioned about him early on was, did he get enough for DeBrincat? Should he have taken Korchinski at 7, right? I remember that draft night, the first hour of that, we're like, oh my God, more of this, what we just left behind, and then, oh, okay, Nazar there at 13. All right, well, that's a little better. And then, the whole thing starts to take form, and you're like, okay, now I see what's going on here. Now I see the plan. And again, there were so many times last year where he could have bailed on the plan because, oh, look at the start we had here.
Yeah.
Maybe we're a little better than we thought. Look how good Max Domi's doing. Maybe we keep him around. And no, it was just ruthless.
Yeah.
It wasn't mean or vindictive, but it was just, I believe in the plan I have. I don't care how you feel about it. I am doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for someone like that to do it that way, like you might never get a chance to GM again, right? That's every GM in hockey. So he's saying to himself, look, I'm going to do this the way I believe is right. And that way, if I fail, I don't have to second guess myself.
Yeah.
Right? If Frank Nazar never pans out, if he's the next Brandon Peary, okay. If Kevin Korchinski never really takes that step defensively to catch up with the offensive game, okay. It didn't work out, but at least he did it the way he believed. And I think that it's commendable. I'll tell you, if it was me, it'd be really hard for me to say goodbye to those guys. And like to look them in the eye and say, we don't want you back, Jonathan Taves. We don't want you back.
And it's not coming from a perspective of an outsider coming in and telling it. He's been with the organization for 10, 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
So he's
right.
So he's we go back to the footage of the trade call with Patrick Kane, and he's telling someone who means so much to the organization, so much to the city, so much to the fans, and so much to him personally in what he's experienced in his professional career, being on the staff of the Blackhawks for 2 Stanley Cups, to say, hey, we're moving on from you. So it takes a special gene that not many people have to be able to have that kind of foresight and fortitude to make those kinds of moves. And I think, and even without landing Bedard, had they picked second or third or whatever in the top 5, with what Kyle Davidson has done to acquire future assets, what he did in last year's draft, what some of the prospects are panning out to be after under his tutelage as GM, with his staff, his people, his direction. And what's coming in this draft beyond Bedard, even without Bedard being involved. Say they got Carlson or Fantilli, everything's still pointed in the same direction. Like it's all going back in that way of like, you can see the future, you can see the positive, you can see the blueprint, and it's working. And
we haven't even talked about the Kyle Davidson bringing in Luke Richardson.
Yeah,
and Kyle Davidson talked about that yesterday, about what was the difference between, last year's draft, your first draft, and now. And one of the first things he mentions is, well, Luke and I now have a year in our relationship under our belt, and we're more in step with each other. Whereas last year, he'd been on the job for a couple of days, a week, whatever it was, before the draft. So now they have a whole year of talking and planning and sharing their visions of this team together. And having your head coach and your general manager lockstep is so crucial. Now, it's easy to do that now, but as the success comes, and, we saw it. We saw a power struggle here for years during the cup runs.
Yep.
Q wanted certain players. He who should not be named wanted other kind of players. And they butted heads a lot.
Yeah.
Now, when if and when the success comes, things may change. But to have your head coach and your general manager on the same page from day one is huge, huge.
Yeah, and just the ability to, like you said, be lockstep on the kinds of players, the kinds of system, the kinds of skills, the kinds of talent. Like I love. The Luke Richardson was not a fast or skilled player, but he wants them. He wants fast and skilled,
and he's smart.
Yeah,
he knows the game is different.
I said it with Jamie and Danny today. It was like he is such a modern thinker of the game, and we've all been, and I think our viewers have been just so impressed with how adaptable he is, how logical and level he is. I don't know. Like I said, I can't think of anything about the Hawks hockey-wise right now that I don't feel great about.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to think of like, all right, there's
What
gotta
can
be
we be
something-
upset about?
There's got to be
Yes.
something hockey-wise organization, because we could talk about, initiatives and all those things. but-
Off ice stuff.
Sure.
and
When
all
the
that,
most
yeah.
questionable move is, why did we bring back Jared Tenorti? You're doing pretty
Yeah,
good.
right. Like, but it's $4
Yeah,
million
it's
too much
fine.
for Nick Foligno. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's
Exactly.
yeah, it's I don't know. I hope Hawks fans are realizing how exciting this is. And you said it earlier in the show that you said it walking to the car, like, holy cow, this is gonna be so good in such a short amount of time. And even next year, which let's say this is the final roster, there's still gonna be a bottom 7 or 8 team probably in the league. Maybe
They
even
should
lower.
finish in the lottery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least it's going to have a purpose, and you're going to watch Bedard develop. You're going to watch Reichel develop. Everyone's talking like Korchinski's here. I don't know. I'm still dubious about that, but like Laz and Powers, who I think are the two most plugged in on the beat, are like top pair defensemen.
Every lineup that they have forecasted this summer so far, Korchinski is right there with Seth Jones, and I'm like, I'm with you. I'm like, I don't know, but also if that's the case for a full season, okay,
Let's see.
let's see if that's a Davidson Richardson decision. All right, you have my faith.
Right. If they believe that's correct, that's the right thing to do, then I will buy in on it because everything they've done so far has worked.
I just want to mention a comment here real quick from the Shawnee. Guys, that Hagel trade looks even better now with Moore at 19.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we still have a first round pick next year from that trade.
Yeah.
Right.
And people did not like that trade when it happened.
Again.
I get it. Brendan Hagel, very good player, very nice guy. Fits what Tampa wanted to do, and he's been very good for them.
Yes.
If Oliver Moore hits his ceiling and Taylor Radish continues to do what he does, even without that pick next year, it's a great trade. It's one of those trades.
Well, don't forget about Boris Kachuk too.
Right, our guy Boris from Sweet Caroline. Everybody wants to declare with every single trade. Somebody's got to be declared a winner right away. Why can't both teams win?
Yeah.
Why can't both teams get what they want?
The DeBrincat trade still has one more pick to
Right.
be made.
People were already talking about the Kings trade for Dubois yesterday. Oh, who's getting the better deal? Ask me in 5 years.
Yeah.
Right.
If the Kings win a Stanley Cup with Pierre-Luc Dubois, they won that trade. If the Jets get back, stay in contention, and maybe they win a Stanley Cup with Iafallo and Velarde on their team, then they win that trade. Maybe they both win that trade. Who knows? It's possible for two teams to make a trade, and both teams at the end of that go, I really like what we did there.
The Kirby Doc trade.
Yeah.
Another one. Is it tough to pull that trigger? Tough to pull the trigger on trading Hagel, who, boy, I think that's when Jonathan Toews was like, what is going on here? I think he said something like, if that guy can't play here, I don't know who can. I don't know what we're doing. And Kyle Davidson stood in front of that and said, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm doing what's best for the team. And I just really respect his commitment to what he believes is the right thing to do.
That's all I want from a general manager of any team, either cover or cheer for or both. Have a clear vision and stick to it and keep us informed along the way.
Yeah.
Don't write a letter telling us we're going young and then less than a year later trade for Seth Jones and Marc-Andre Fleury.
Right.
Yeah.
Pick a lane and stay there. And so far, that's what we've got. And it could be this offseason could have been a very easy way to see Kyle Davidson veer out of that lane. Once he knew he was getting Connor Bedard, he could have been like, okay, we're going to trade for this guy and this guy and this guy. No. He gets Taylor Hall and Nick Foligno, but those are guys that aren't going to be here
long term
when their contracts are done.
Yeah.
They're not, and there weren't overpays, any of that stuff. So we saw with Steve Yzerman, the great Steve Yzerman, greatest general manager to ever walk the face of the earth after David Boyle, apparently.
Of course. Oh, my God.
He veered off that lane. Definitely a year too early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For nothing.
Yeah, in fairness, Detroit's not had a lot of draft lottery luck.
Yeah.
I think they've fallen a couple times. They've gotten bad luck in the draft lottery, but I don't know. I'm again searching for something to be upset about and not finding it.
Yeah.
I'm just not. Tonight was A+.
Yep.
Connor Bedard, Oliver Moore. If you told me at 4 p.m. today you're going to walk out of the building with Connor Bedard and Oliver Moore, I would assume,
and all 4 year second round picks,
that at least
and you didn't,
3 picks were gone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
19 and 2 seconds or something to move up to get Oliver Moore.
Yeah.
And they got him without trading anything. And that's another thing. Like, he was trying to trade up. And Kyle Davidson was trying to move up and get more. But I'm sure some team would have been like, sure, give us the rest of your draft or whatever.
Right.
No. He's like, all right, I'm going to play it cool. I'm going to try, but I'm going to do it within reason. I'm going to do it within the parameters of not hurting ultimately the plan. And it worked out and it fell right to him.
And he certainly made it sound like don't rule out taking on a bad contract tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
he's still got the flexibility to do that too.
You're seeing bad contracts go for 6 rounders and that was a Kevin Hayes one, right?
Yes,
it was a 6 rounder for Kevin Hayes?
That was Kevin Hayes.
And 50% retention.
Oy vey.
Show. Yeah. Oh, boy. Well, I think we need to do pay some more bills. And this is usually the point of the show where I tell you how to get some really cool sunglasses. But I am very happy to talk to you guys about a brand new partner. We are so excited to partner with our new friends at Circle K.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, every time I hear Circle K, I think of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I'm showing my age. Something is afoot at the Circle K. But check out your local Circle K for the best coffee, beer, and snack selection to go along with premium gasoline. That's everything you could possibly need.
Yeah, but don't eat the gasoline.
No, don't eat the gasoline or drink it.
But the snacks.
You know what else you could do at a Circle K? You can pull over to the side of the road and film Taylor Hall trade reactions.
Yeah, you could.
You can do that. But look out for the freebies and giveaways down the road at your favorite Circle K. The Circle K is an amazing place to get all your favorite road trip snacks.
Muddy Bites,
combos, Cheez-Its. I'm a big fan of Twizzlers on a road trip.
Sure.
We're gonna be back in the car Friday. We're going to need to stop at a Circle K and get all of our favorite, maybe some Slim Jims, some beef jerky.
And if you eat too much cheese for lunch, there's a nice little pit stop for you.
She wasn't listening.
Or if there's a trace of gluten, there will be there will
very
be
clean bathrooms at Circle K.
There'll be some pit stops.
Yes.
Yep.
So yes, go check out our brand new friends. Thanks to Circle K for sponsoring CHGO. Visit the nearest Circle K to pick up all your favorite finds.
You think they got Goose Island at Circle K?
I bet they do.
I bet they do.
Only one way to find out. Go visit and look.
Yep. We will definitely be looking for that Goose Island beer because they are the proud beer sponsor of us here at CHGO and Chicago's beer since 1988. They got the Goose IPA, the 6-time medal winner at the Great American Beer Fest. Some say the Connor Bedard of Goose Island's lineup, always in style with their citrus aroma and bold hop finish. You got the Tropical Beer Hug, the dry hopped Imperial IPA with a 9.9 ABV that is dangerously easy to drink. You got the Full Pocket Pills, the everyday beer. It is what the Goose Island beer brewers are drinking. And of course, the Golden Can, the 312, the staple of Goose Island's beer lineup. You can grab ultra fresh brewery exclusive beers at Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne Ave in Lincoln Park, or you can go to their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Again, that is the Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer, and the 312 Pizza Company that we had lunch at today.
Ooh.
They had themselves some Goose Island. They had a full lineup of it.
It was great. Everything was top notch there. Thanks to them for hosting us. If you're down in Nashville, the 312 pizza spot in Germantown.
Mm-hmm.
it tastes like home.
We walked in and it was cold, which was refreshing. We walked out and I was like, oh yeah, we're back in Nashville now.
Yeah,
like it was great.
Yep, great spot.
All right, before we wrap up, Pierre LeBrun just published this to The Athletic, saying why the NHL's draft no trade day one could be the calm before the storm.
Ooh.
And there's a quote from David Poyle, which we haven't heard enough from him tonight.
Who's that?
Him and Jim Nill.
He said nothing happened, but tomorrow there will be a lot happening. I guarantee you that it'll be different. So gear up for an exciting, potentially trade-filled day 2 of the NHL draft. So the draft begins at 10 a.m. We're going to be there for the other 6 rounds that happen tomorrow, and then we're going to come back and do what we did today. That should probably be around 5 or 6.
It starts at 10.
Yeah,
so
should be over around 2, 3.
An hour per round gets you to 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably about 5 o'clock.
Yeah. So we'll keep you posted as best we can, but won't be a late night one, but we will certainly be here for you tomorrow as soon as we get back from covering the draft. So look, we've got tons of people watching right now. Smash that like button on your way out for us. We would really appreciate that.
Before we go, we do have 2 more super chats.
Let's super chat it up.
Time to smash the like button while we read.
First one from Casimir. He says, how pissed is Fantilli right now that he has to live in Columbus and not California?
We saw him. He looked adequately
He's going to be
content.
He's going to be an NHL player and get to play with Johnny Gaudreau.
That'll work.
You know what's funny is he has a choice between either playing in Columbus, Ohio, or Ann Arbor, Michigan this year.
Yeah,
that's an interesting choice.
Yeah,
he's a Wolverine that's eventually going to have to play in the land of the Buckeyes. But Kent Johnson did okay with that.
Yeah, it works. It's okay.
That's true. Yeah. And our last super chat.
Our last one from Alan K, frequent viewer. A coffee cup with the words "tired."
Yes,
and that is so accurate.
Yes,
yeah.
Not even can't describe, but you know what? We got to get right back at it in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
We are going to be back at the Bridgestone Arena in 9 hours.
I got to write my damn day 3 diary today.
Do you know what? Today was a lot of adrenaline. Tomorrow's going to be a lot of adrenaline. Now it's starting to dissipate. I'm ready for bed. So why don't we
wrap it up?
I got one more I want to read. It's not a super chat, but
all right.
This is what we're all about. It's from Windy City Hockey. He says, want to say thank you to the guys and crew. I didn't have the option to get this kind of coverage of the Hawks as a younger man, so this is fantastic. Much appreciated, everyone.
Thank you.
We
appreciate that.
That's what it's all about.
And on that note, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's listening, everyone who's watching, everyone who's subscribed or has bought a shirt or anything like that. Any person that's here that's part of the CHGO community. It is because of you guys that we are able to be here.
Yeah.
And to be able to do this. It's like you said, Jay, like this is the dream. This is the dream position for all of us to be able to do this, and it's just incredible. And the words of appreciation from people that we've talked to this week, people that were at the event at Hopsmith, comments on Twitter and in our Discord and everywhere. It really means a lot to hear that what we're doing, this silly little podcast, means a lot to people, and so it's we appreciate it. We appreciate everyone out there.
Those comments.
Awesome.
We've been approached by people here walking up and down Nashville who come up and say hello. Those are the type of things that I feel safe speaking for all three of us, fuel us.
Yeah.
To make it even better and motivate us. And we got another long day tomorrow. I can't wait to start.
They love us so much they don't want us to stop. Another super chat. This one from Windy City Hockey.
We will eventually go to bed.
Yeah, that will have to be a thing. I promise.
Screw it. Let's just go right back to the arena.
The super chat's just one word. Bed God.
Bed God.
Bed God.
I would like some bed, please, God.
Yes, please.
You want the full Bedard.
All right. Get yourself that Future of the League shirt at chgolocker.com. Hey, if you're not a diehard yet, today's a good day to do it because guess what? You get the Future of the League shirt or whatever shirt you want free when you become a diehard. You save 20% on all of our events and all of our merch. So jump in, do it. chgolocker.com, allchgo.com. And if for some reason you're not following us on social media, you are missing out on tons of draft content at CHGO_Blackhawks on Twitter, at CHGO_sports on Twitter, and at CHGO_sports on Instagram and TikTok. You want to follow us everywhere because it's not just the same content. It's different everywhere we go. So make sure you jump on all of our social medias and hit like when you see those tweets and Instagrams and TikToks and all that jazz. All right, let's go to bed, shall we? All right.
Yeah. Should we wrap up with that video one more time? This is
we could do that.
Good
way to send it off.
In case you missed it, there's a lot more people here than we were when we started, but this is some of the hard work put together by that crew behind our backs that make us look better. Steven put this video together.
They're back there behind
they're behind the curtain. It's the Wizard of Oz. But Steven, take us out with that great video put together, and thanks to everybody who filmed all this great stuff in this video.
And with the first overall selection in the 2023 NHL Draft, the Chicago Blackhawks are very proud to select from the Regina Pats, the Western Hockey League, Connor Bedard.